Oh, wow. It just goes like that, and we're in. Okay. Awesome. We got some participants. People are showing up. Okay. Whoa. Clay, Darby, Florence, Juliet. Oh man, they're coming in too fast. They're coming in too fast. Kelsey, Taras is here. What's happening, Taras? Madison, Maddie. Oh my goodness. Suzanne, Albert. Yes, my dude. Evelyn, address us here. Look at this. Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's workshop. We are going to be talking all about templates, but for the first few minutes, we're just going to let everybody come into the fold. So if you are here and you don't mind doing so, go into the chat and just say where you're from or who you work with or something like that, right? So, like me, I'm with Slate. So I'd say, hey, everyone, I'm with Slate. So get that chat popping, and we'll go from there. Let's go like this. To everyone. Hey, oh, Anna, yes, Annalie gets props for being what I can tell, like the first one to. Okay, here we go. The first one to jump in. We've got Tori with the White Sox. Yep, Alec. Appreciate you, Alec. Firebirds fam in the building once again. Virginia Tech, let's go. Darby. Okay, Brooke, you have athletics. Yeah. Nick from Excel. Oh, yeah. Awesome. I love it. Kellen, what's happening? Kellen jumped in too. I love this. Nevada. Oh, someone from Nevada. Where did Nevada go? Alex from Flames. What's happening, Alex? Justin with the Brain. Brooks with the Wolves. Oh, gosh. I Oh, it was Andressa. Oh, Andressa, yes. Henry. Oh, Predators in hockey. Oh, wow. Okay, here. Hi guys. I'm Mike. I'm from Slate. Sick. Cool. We're gonna give it about one more minute, and then we will jump into it. I'll do a little around the horn though, and do some introductions real quick. So I'm Mike McGinnis, one of the senior customer success managers here at Slate. So I spend my days talking to actually a lot of you that are in the chat right now. What's up? A lot of you that are in the chat probably talk to Janice. A lot of you probably talk to Becca as well. So we got a bunch of people here. You know what? Now that I mentioned Becca, maybe I'll just throw it over to you, Becca. Who are you? What do you do?
Cool. Becca, Director of Customer Success here at Slate. Essentially Mike's boss. So if anyone has
Mhm.
feedback, I'm all ears.
Good stuff, please. Thank you, Becca. Let's go to Sean. I see Sean over there. What's happening, Sean?
Yo, I'm Sean. I am here in Cape Town, South Africa. So probably the only person in the Southern Hemisphere on this call. Uh, Let me know in the chat if that is wrong. I work on all things product here. So uh, yeah, hit me up. Give us all your product feedback. We that's what we're here for.
Thank you, Sean. Like you said, if anybody else is in the Southern Hemisphere, please let us know in the chat because right now, Sean's the only one we got. Let's go to Taras real quick. Let's go to Taras. What's happening, Taras?
Hey guys, my name is Taras. I am from Ukraine. I'm delivery manager here, and I'm working mostly with the templates and helping to solve all the issues around that, working around releasing the features. So if you have any feedback, I would be happy to hear that. Thank you.
Awesome. And before I get to my last person, I would like to set the rest of the session up because Alex is going to take it away in a second here. But this is what we got for you. You came in to talk about templates. We got swappable layers. We got swappable assets. We've got all sorts of things, PSD files. And we're going to have Alec bring us through a lot of those at the beginning. And for the first 25 minutes until we hit about 25 after, we're going to be going over all the sorts of stuff that he's been working on. Then from there, we're going to go into how to actually load these templates. How do you actually put them into your account to use them? And then the last little bit of this, that'll be about 10 minutes long. And then the last little bit is going to be what the future looks like. And Sean's going to bring us through some ideas. We got a poll question for anybody who can stick around. But if you're here because you saw that the LA Kings have been masterminds of the template game, well, you're in the right spot because we've got Alec Palmer, who is the whiz kid behind the scenes doing all sorts of stuff for the LA Kings. And they have literally pushed us to the max when it comes to templates. So we said, Alec, why don't you come in and give us an example of what you guys do and how you do it and why you do it so well. So, Alec, I'm going to turn it over to you. Give us a little intro of yourselves and start bringing us through some of these templates.
Well, I don't know how much I can give a better intro than that. But I appreciate everyone getting on here. I'm Alec Palmer. I've been with the Kings about 3.5 years now. I've been in the social world for a while now, and really into content and all that. And we've been working with Slate, I don't know, a couple, 2, 3 years, most of my time that I've been with the Kings, and nothing but great things. And as Mike said, we did break the servers one time. So Taras and Sean, I'm sorry, or you're welcome, I guess. I don't know which one is better. We did do that at one point, but they fixed it. Everything was great. And we've been using every product, every beta, everything. We brought on shortcuts. I'm not just a Slate fanboy, but I'm a believer in the product, and we use it every day.
Awesome, dude. Awesome stuff. Well, with that being said, Sean, Becca, Taras, you guys can bounce for a little bit, and then Alec, we'll turn it over to you. They'll all be back. Don't worry about them. They'll be back, everybody. They'll be back. We're going to take a look and do a deep dive into what's been going on with the behind the scenes of the templates with the King. So he's going to share his screen. We're going to start from the beginning. We're going to start like before the game. We're going to go through the game. We're going to go after the game. And we have a bunch of insights as well. So that being said, Alec, do your thing, man. Do your thing.
You got it. Let me make sure I don't have notifications.
Yeah,
popping.
right. I know. As he's pulling this up, by the way, I was typing this up for the chat, but if you have questions, there is a question button down there, or you can throw them in here and we'll find them. But feel free to get those things loaded so that we can answer them in a bit. Oh, thanks, Becca. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Oh yeah, Mike, stop me. If anybody has questions or anything you think that would be helpful, or things I missed that we want to talk about, let me know. But anyway, so we've really, I think, leveraged Slate in a really, really effective manner. And I think that the biggest thing for us, this is, I know he gave me a lot of credit personally. I don't take that credit. We have a really great team, both our social team and our creative team, who help make Slate what it is. And I think even before we start, whether that's templates, frames, shortcuts, whatever, Slate to me is only as good as you make it. It can be as powerful as you want it. It can be as limited as you want it. But to us, using it and really helping us control our brand, deliver better content, making things a little bit more polished, adding that crucial context and using it as best as we can has been a huge help, not only to social and creative, but partnerships or our foundation and event coverage and all of those things. So when we're looking at Slate, we're looking at a true collaboration between mainly the social team. It's built of myself, Emma, who I believe she's in transit today. So she's probably the biggest user of Slate on earth. And then Ryan is our social producer who also uses it, but then our creative team filled with designers and all those talented people. So I believe we have some of our Ontario Reign people who are in this webinar, our AHL team, who are also using Slate, which is awesome to hear too. So all of that being said, Slate and its success to us is built on the collaboration between the creative team and the social team. If it is one trying to tell the other what to do, how to do it, that's not necessarily going to be its strongest. It's a true collaboration. And what we sold when we were talking to our designers and our creative team a few years ago now was this isn't to in any way replace any of them. There's no replacing a designer, nothing like that. This is allowing their creative vision, their creative expertise to come to life in the way that they wanted it to come to life. It's not so myself or Emma can add a little logo and in the wrong place, which we will. Don't get me wrong, and our creative team knows that. It's not always because of that. It's so we can leverage the hard work the creative team put in over the off season during the season to get our content out, and then also frees them up specifically on game days to create much more. I don't want to say cooler things because maybe some people really love swapping out score graphics and things like that, but it allows them to create more reactive graphics. If there's a hat trick or a huge moment or a debut or something big happens or whatever, it allows them to get freed up, be a little bit more creative, do a little bit more. So it's not just, oh, it's 3-1 now, it's 4-1. Here you go, here you go, here you go. That puts the onus on the social team. And with that being said, one of the biggest things that I think even has changed, and Slate is changing and releasing new features all the time, but since when I started to now is this templates. And it's something I know we pushed for when we brought on. I was like, hey, we would really love to have our score graphics in here so we don't have to have PSDs or whatever. They listened. They created something, and it's been really, really awesome to even see how it's gotten better even over the time. So as many of you know, this is our Slate open. Here's our brand hub. We've got all our good stuff. We try to stay organized as much as we possibly can. We will be adding some intros and outros, but this is our playoff stuff. RIP to our playoff hopes. It was a sad time. I know no one from the Edmonton Oilers are probably in here, but you're not allowed to ask any questions. But this is our brand hub. This got everything in it. We won't go through all that. You can ask Mike to show a demo on your next call with him or Becca or something. But what we're looking for is our templates. So we go into our templates here. This is our build, and obviously this is the all. Our big thing is organization. A huge, huge, huge thing for us to be fast, to be effective, to not make mistakes, to be all of those things is organization. So one thing we do is we have every single feature organized into these folders. And this has been a huge help because yes, it might be easy to find it on the computer, but think about when you're on your phone, when you're running through an arena or running from field to press box, whatever that may be, you're on your phone, you're not running with your laptop. So that needs to be organized, and it needs to be, in our case, alphabetical. And we also put our home and away templates in there as well. So we have two different versions. So as you're going through our templates, you'll see final score. Oops, that one got moved. Game preview, goal frames, hockey wood, that's a frame only, intermission updates, know before you go, all these different things, right? So we know whether that's computer, whether that's phone, we know exactly where we're going. Boom, Kings win. There you go. And one thing we found, and this is something, transparently we've been working on, Mike, and we've had this conversation about improving the organization and stuff we're running into, whether that's a bug or something gets moved or whatever inadvertently. That's great feedback, and those things are continuously improving too. So we really try to use the features as much as possible. But when we're organizing, this has been really helpful for us. We have it alphabetical, and if see here's our collection. We always label it. PL25 was 2025 playoffs. It's always searchable for us. We know we can search that. You can add your search terms. We didn't do it as much for playoffs because it's kind of truncated, but for regular season, we normally do.
Dude, and a lot of you on this call have actually heard me talk about the King stuff a ton. You've probably seen some of this before. So I tell you, I'm not lying. I try to tell you as much truth as I can. Alec, with all the organization that you have, could you bring us from the beginning or even before the game, like where you start with a template and then kind of the sequence of templates you use up through there?
Yep, definitely. So one of the biggest things we've established and what we found was you can't rely on venue internet. You can't rely on cell phone coverage. You can't do any of that. All of us know whether you're on live, on location, whether you're in transit, bus, plane, whatever, internet and coverage isn't always there. So what we found was we established a time between the social team and myself, Emma, and Ryan. It's like, hey, here was our publish. We edit anything we need to, whatever. Most of the time we don't once we start things. And we edit everything and then we publish. And then once that publish is in, we don't change it again because there's too much concern that, everything has to reload and all that stuff, which it is already pretty quick, but nothing can beat really, really slow internet or cell phone coverage. So with that being said, we'll generally think in the afternoon, we'll say, okay, let's publish. It's there. We load it up on our phones on good internet, and then we're ready to rock once we get to the arena. So once we get to the arena, we're doing things back in our brand hub, whether that's our overlays, different things like that. If we're flying, we've got our Kings of the Sky, we've got these different things. But once we get through some of those frames and stuff, we're getting into our game coverage. That's where you're really going to start to see us leverage our templates the most. The first thing we'll do is right here is our game preview. So this is I'm actually probably just going to create content, huh?
Sure. Do it live, dude. Do it live.
There we go. So you'll see in our game preview right here, if you want to, there are all of our drop downs right here, but it's just easy. So game preview is one of our writers, Zach Dooley. He's going to be writing all the different things heading into this later game. We'll go ahead and we know, okay, this was, let's just say it was April 24, game 1. All right, boom, we're done. We add our photo, whatever that is. There we go. And we call it a day. There you go. So game previews in and out. We call it a day. We export. We get it out there, and it's done. Well, that's great. And I think those swappable layers and those texts, the editable text is really great. But what we really leveraged, and I think what Mike is waiting for me to get to probably, is our swappable layers usage. And this is something I feel we really pioneered, maybe, and we really kind of leveraged it as much as possible, is our swappable layers. So as some of you may know or may see already, I'm going to switch to 4x5. It's a little easier, I think, to use. We go down to our starting lineup, and we get to our starting lineup, and our guys are going to take the ice. Now, in football or in baseball or another sport, you may have a little bit more time. I'm not going to claim to know exactly how your workflow works, but in hockey, if you don't know, they take warm-ups about generally a half an hour to 15 minutes before they go out on the ice for a puck drop. They head out there, and then the starting lineup isn't submitted. So if it's a 7:30 game, the starting lineup isn't submitted till at least 7:25. So there's less than 10 minutes to figure out, to get the starting lineup, to make the graphic, to post it before the game is started. And a lot of times you're typing, and in all these different sports, names can be more complicated. There can be hyphens, weird spellings, different things like that we got concerned. You might miss a position, whatever that may be. We only have 6, but we have a lot of unique names that are not easy to spell. Some of them are Russian, some of are Swedish, some have accent marks and different things like that. And what we were finding was there's little mistakes that aren't making or breaking, but we found mistakes. So one thing we worked with our designers this year was, how do we limit the typing? How do we limit human error when we're trying to get things out quickly? Starting lineup was the easiest one to attack because we thought, well, we already have their headshots. We have their name, their position, their numbers. None of that's changing. So why would we type that every time? Let's just create that and bundled in one single layer in Photoshop, and we'll get it into Slate. And we workshopped it. It took a little bit. We figured it out. And now when we're on the phone or we're here and it's 7:25 and the starting lineup just populated on the NHL media website, and here we go. It goes, boom. Okay, we know it's Adrian Kempe, Andrei Kuzmenko, and Anze Kopitar as our forwards, Joel Edmondson and Brant Clark as our defensemen, and Darcy Kemper in goal. So we know that information. Let's go ahead and click. So we click into our forward here, and it can change, however you want. But then in Photoshop, this is what we dumped in. This was all of the headshots, and sometimes we had multiple versions of players, from anybody who's on an NHL contract. So that included some of our Reign players who may get called up. And the reason for that was we didn't want to have to change this. So we didn't have to actually change anything until trade deadline, which was a huge plus for us. So we know it's Andrei Kuzmenko, and let's go ahead and find him. And he's going to be towards the bottom here, if I can read. And this is something we really wanted to focus on next year. Where is he? Really bad example that I can't find him. He's at the end. Andrei Kuzmenko right there. We know Anze Kopitar. Adrian Kempe was already there. Joel Edmondson's there. And let's go find, did I say Brant Clark? Yeah, I said Brant Clark. Brant Clark. And there he is. Darcy Kemper was already our goalie. Boom. And these were our black aces. So these were guys that are only played in emergencies. We added them. And say it was game 2. And boom, we're done. Exported there, and it's out. Same thing on phone, it pops up. And that was a huge thing, huge win for us. And then looking into next year, what's that feedback, making that more efficient, organizing it a little bit better. Maybe that's in alphabetical order next year. That's all stuff we would work with our designers and figure out for the next year. But that's starting lineup. Once the game starts and all of that thing goes, we have intermission templates, we have final scores. So let's go to our intermission updates. Boom, the LA Kings. I saw the Hurricanes in there, so we'll keep the Hurricanes there. The LA Kings are winning 5-1 after the first period. We're end of first. Boom there. And there's the photo. Do a little work. And there you go. LA Kings are there. Boom, exported out. Now, as we get through, you think final score is probably similar, and how we did it is a little bit different. We actually have different for win and loss. So loss just says final score, win says Kings win. Right here. Sorry, Canes, we beat you 7-2. We'll give you that one. We'll beat you there. We have this going, and we export, and it's out. Now, when we post our Kings win, we also include our stats of the game. And this is where, there's a little bit more information that we have to go through. One thing I will say as you're going, and you see, don't forget about the phone. The phone is going to be like this, that size right there. And if you look at my fingers, I've got these fat thumbs and fat fingertips. Sometimes it can be a little difficult depending on how small that text is on a phone and trying to hit those numbers. So there's a couple of different ways you can make that, 4 X's or something that gives a little bit more space, or just kind of be cognizant of that while you're in with your designers trying to make those things. But what we did was, and this is my fault here, but one thing we didn't do was actually, I didn't make the swappable layers on the stats yet because I forgot. So if I go into stats, and one thing when we were going through with Mike, I was like, actually, here's a mistake that I made, but let's demo some swappable layers.
Do it live, Alec. Do it live.
Yeah. So if you ever want to, you have your template in here, and this is stats of the game, right? In theory, you're playing a different team. We put the whole NHL in here. So we don't mess up anybody's logos. So that's all in there. But if I try to go into the template build right now, I can't change this. This is locked in. But with the swappable layers edition, we're able to do that. So very easily, you go into your edit template, and you're going to see all of your stuff. Here's all your layers, boom. And then you see this, and these are all grayed out. You can't use any of those right now, but they're all loaded in this Photoshop file. So all you do is you go click layer swaps. And as long as it's in these little folders in Photoshop, when you upload the PSD, you click this little check mark. We check the whole box or the whole folder. And now all of a sudden, all of those are checked in there and they are ready to go. We click create, we click save. Going to create our draft, and then we can go make it. While it's creating the draft, anything I'm missing so far, Mike?
Question. Ashley asked, do the player names and images need to be flattened into one layer for a template to stay together, or can they be in a folder?
I believe what we did was our designer made each one of those smart objects, and then we rasterized each smart object. So it kept everything. The smart objects, what we found sometimes, and lie for Taras and Sean maybe, but sometimes the smart objects get a little finicky. So we try to flatten all of those. But if you get in there, you always save an extra file, always have a backup, always have a redundancy. We have everything uploaded to Slate. Everything, each social person has a hard drive with all the templates loaded, and we have it in our internal cloud server as well. So in theory, you should never be in fear of missing something in case something does happen like that. Awesome. So we go back to create content real quick. Let's hit the 4x5 because that's the one I did it. Into our templates. Oop, I did stats. That's what it was. Stats. Now we can go here. Which one was it? Oh, I didn't publish.
Oh, the old publish.
Sorry.
The old it gets us all. It comes for us all, Alec. It comes for us all.
Got nervous. I was like, I didn't think I messed it up. Down to stats. This is the one I did. Boom. Now it's the Ducks. We can change it to whoever we'd like. Old brand, don't come for me, Utah. We didn't update anything yet. I know you're the Mammoth. But we have all of the team logos here. Say we're playing the Blue Jackets. Boom. The Kings scored 23 goals. The Blue Jackets scored 0. There you go. Same swap. And the last swap I wanted to show was our what we learned from the starting lineup. We said, well, we can do this for so many other things. We go to our practice report, and we have multiple writers sometimes. And so Zach Dooley is our main writer, so he's the default, but we sometimes have Josh, or we sometimes might have Jared. I know he might be in here, but I know some of his team is from the Reign. But we have Jared here, and all you do is swap that, and now you have different writers. And I think that's all the ones we had to go through.
Dude, Alec, I've got one more for you.
Yeah.
Quick insight on the writers portion. I hadn't seen anybody do the writers thing, and I love it because it's just like a new way to use this stuff that people don't often think about. So I was like, as soon as I saw this, I started trying to tell people about it. The other one that you brought up with me was, tell me about some rally towels, dude. Tell me about some
yep.
rally towels.
So, I'm 16. So, as a lot of you, I'm sure, know this acronym KBYG, know before you go. We did that for each playoff game. So, it's when does Fan Fest open? When do doors? When's puck drop? What's the giveaway? All those different things. And you can see if you click through, we had ours in templates because we were like, well, let's not make a new thing every time. We know it's going to be similar things. So let's just go ahead. These are the simple ones. We add some photos, add some text, swap out the schedule again. Here we go. We're playing the Oilers. Swap this stuff out. Again, same thing. But what we found was, well, we know how to do the starting lineup. We know how to do the writers. We know what our rally tiles are going to be. So instead of us having to find a new graphic every time, let's just load all the designs of the rally tiles in. And now we don't have to go back to our designers at all when we're putting our before you go out. And so now we have all these. They added them in just like we did for all of our starting lineup and all that stuff.
Dude, I friggin' love it because a lot of times the first thing that popped up with the swappable layers or swappable assets is going to be the opponents. It makes sense. You have scores that you have to get out there. Let's get the opponent's graphics or logos in there. But then once you realize the functionality, you start doing what Alec and his team has been doing. You're like, hold on, we can get rally towels in here. We can get we can get the writers in here. We can get all sorts of stuff in here. And now it all opens up for you.
One thing I wanted to mention too after that, what we're looking ahead to next year is figuring out how we can leverage this even more. We really try to push the limits, as we mentioned. I think our first time using templates when it launched, we had over 1,100 templates or something like that loaded in, and it was crazy. We loved being the top user, but it was one thing where it's like, this is too much to go through, so we consolidated. Next year, we're going to look to, can we, instead of having an away version and a home version, is there a way for us to use a swappable layer? Because you see this is white up top, black at the bottom. This is black, white. Is there a way we can use a swappable layer to just switch those? I don't know. We got a long off season to figure it out, but that's one of the things we're working on for next year to see if that's a possibility.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I'm going to take this opportunity to let everybody know you're free to go if anybody wants to go. We do have more that we're going to talk about, but that was Alec going through everything that the Kings have been up to. The next portion of this is going to be talking about how to set those up. He went through one of them. I'll go through one and give you some quick pointers and some insights. And then the last portion of this will go till about quarter of. So we have another, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 minutes, something like that. And we'll be whipping through a bunch of stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Maybe I'll check in with Becca real quick. Becca, have you missed anything? Is there anything else we need to answer right now?
I don't think so. Tross and I have been answering questions as we've gone. There have been great questions so far. I think the next section will cover a lot of any other outstanding questions that just haven't been dropped into the chat.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'll get into it. We'll spend a little bit of time here and let me share my screen. Let's share my screen, shall we? So, first thing I want to point out, check this out. Alec, I'll give me 30 seconds on what's going on here because you also have things going with YouTube.
Yep. So that's the one we didn't get to, but YouTube thumbnails is a huge thing, and it's going to be an even bigger focus for us heading into next year. But again, capitalizing on those things that happen all the time, media availabilities, game highlights, things like that. And again, we can't always get to our computer. You may be on a bus. For example, the Kings leave the arena within 35 to 40 minutes after the final horn, including media. So there's no time for us when we're away, there's no time for us to sit down, upload our media, put a little everything together. A lot of time we're uploading on bus or plane or whatever, and we need to get that thumbnail out quickly. So that's something we also did. We added our media thumbnails, our highlight thumbnails in there, so we can upload and everything right from our phone the whole time while we're in transit until we can get back to our computer.
Dude, love it, love it. Okay, I'm gonna jump over here real quick and we're just gonna reiterate a few things. The first one is what type of file? It's gonna be a PSD file. I downloaded this one from a demo account. This is a King's demo account. It's the same stuff, but I'm going to show you from start to finish how to set this up. So you drag and drop a template into here, PSD file. Once it's loaded up, what you're going to do is you're going to pull it into here. And then over here on the side, you'll see that there's a bunch of stuff, but right now there's no layer swaps on the right-hand side. There's no layer swaps. So from here, what you do is you hit this plus button. Boom. Once you do that, it's going to identify all those layers. And you can do these individual if you want to. The easiest way to go about it, though, is just to click on everything. For now, let's start with the teams. I'll go like this. And side note, here you go, real pro tip. If you really want to, you could have anybody be the default. So if you turn on the eyeball, now, what do we got? The sabers? The sabers will be the default. So I'm going to create this. And now, boop, there it is. And here's all your swappable layers. Same thing goes for everybody else that you have on here. I won't go through all of them, but I'll show you one more. So like this one right here, right there. I'll click on that, create. Now, you got those swappable layers ready to go. A few other tips and tricks. One thing is that if you have any text somewhere, make sure that you have the font loaded up into your account already. Otherwise, it'll be like, where's the font? Where's the font? I'm trying to find the font. If you don't have it loaded, but you want to switch something out, you can scroll over the font, hit this little button, and then find a different font. You can do that if you want to. Best case scenario, though, is to have your fonts loaded up in the first place. And then the final couple of thoughts are when you have like names. When you have names, or if you have scores, or if you have anything else, I'll discard these changes. If you have something like this is great right here, the 0 zeros, because Alex, do you have your own question right now? What is your question, sir?
You can come back to it. Someone asked about how you make those player lockups, but I have the original working file, PSD, I can share if they're still on.
Oh, shoot. Okay, that'd be awesome. If you could share it, that'd be great. One other thing, and then I'm going to pass it over to everybody else, but I want to show you one other thing here, which is a very basic template sort of thing to be aware of. But when you have something like a score graphic or anything with a name in it, what we really encourage people to do is have long versions. So like in here, we have 0, 0 and not just 1. And the reason is if you had like just a 1 in here, as soon as you try to do something else, you see how it breaks? Everything can break because it's very specific to the width of the placeholder text. So whether it's going to be scores, we often say, hey, put like 0, 0 or 0, 0, 0 or 8, 8, 8. Those are usually good ones for you. Or if it's going to be a name, make sure it is a name that is a long name. Now you can do a little bit of a workaround with that because there's one more thing that we'll talk about here, which is unlocking layers. So let me show you this one. If you have like names, you're like, yeah, for the most part, most names are going to fit into here, but sometimes they get a little long. You can find one of these, whatever one it, like, let's do this one. This thumbnail right here. So you see long name, long name. What you can do is you can come in here and hit this unlock button right there, unlock. I'll keep the second one locked just so you can see this. And now I'm going to save it. Okay, I got to remember this template. This is the one that we're looking for. All the King's Men, all the King's Men. Got it. Okay, remember. I think that's what, was it Dr. Leo Spachemin? Is that his name? That's what he does. Okay, once that goes through, you're going to hit this Publish Changes button. That'll pop up. And then when you're ready to use it, it has a slight different feel because you're going to go to create a piece of content. Switch this ratio. Okay, remember, there it is. And let's see if we got these. There we go. Okay, so here's the difference. This layer right here is locked. This is locked. So if I put my name, Michael McGinnis, it'll do this thing. But this one is unlocked. So if I do my whole name, Michael McGinnis, what unlocking does is it allows you to make this longer, or it allows you to make you can actually just edit pretty much anything. Make this smaller if you want to. You can slide this in. You can do a lot of things by unlocking the layer. So that's another option for everybody. With all that being said, something to keep in mind as you are making this is that if you run into any issues, up here in the corner, this right here, question mark, right there, how to make a template is super helpful. How to make a template. It'll bring you to our help center, show you a lot of things. But what I tell people, maybe the most helpful thing, is this, the help videos for error messages. You click on that, and it'll show you a bunch of error messages you're likely to run into. And our guy Taras on this call has gone through the effort of making a bunch of help videos where he literally pulls up our version of Slate, like our own, we have our own account over here. And then he goes into some of his PSD files to show you those settings and exactly what he's changing to make things work for you. I should also note, we do have, do we have that PSD, Becca or Taras or anybody? Do we have that PSD that we can throw in? Because we do have a bunch of tips and tricks that we can send your way that are super helpful. Okay, Becca?
Cheat sheet just dropped in the chat.
Did it? Oh, that's sick. That's awesome. Cool. Well, with all that being said, we got 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left. I'm going to turn it over to Sean, who's got some future stuff. Oh, hold on. Becca?
We wanted to, Ashley wanted to jump back to Alex PSD.
Oh, yes.
Yep, I can share it real quick. So there it is. Okay. So here's our, basically when our designers deliver, they're delivering us, they have like their master working file on our server, but they'll deliver a more compressed version to us and a Slate version. So it's basically like a working file light that we're able to work on that's still pretty controlled, that if we need to go back into Photoshop because something's wrong, we don't have internet, whatever, we can, but then we upload a Slate version, which is much more pulled down. So in this, if you wanted to go, this is our 4x5 and you wanted to go to this Adrian Kempe one right here, this is our left wing, right? If you go down, here's how it is, a do not edit. I unlocked all the layers, don't tell our designers. But they have a do not edit, which is, our sponsor, matchup, all that stuff, textures. And then we have our edit and it goes into toggle. So what we did was we created each one of these positions as a smart object by itself. Oops, where's the left? There it is. So if I just hide this layer right here, this is the left, and then you click in, then this is all of our players right here. So there you go. It's all in there. But that's not the one we can upload to Slate necessarily because it's still a pretty big file. It's still doing a little bit of work. So we get out of this, and then this is our Slate version that goes in. So if you click here, these are now just in toggle forwards left, center, right, toggle goalies, toggle defense left, right. And these are just, they're just regular rasterized image layers. All locked in. So if we close that, Adrian Kempe is gone, but Tanner Jeannot is in. It's the same thing you're doing in Slate.
I love it. Oh man, that was like a special bonus. Didn't even know it was going to happen. Sean, let's go to you, sir.
Cool. We're going to keep this super quick, and I'm going to try keep us as close to time as possible. Is my screen looking okay? I did the crazy thing of switching to a new browser this afternoon. I like to live on the edge, so. Okay, cool. So we, wait, let me not get ahead of myself. We're in the process of putting together like a list of things for us to do next. And we're not covering everything here. And some of the things that we're not covering are like small incremental improvements. Something that's important to note, just to keep in mind that all of the things that Slate doesn't support with PSD template imports, the reason is because Slate doesn't support that or doesn't have that functionality yet. So when you think about things like cutouts or masks or blend modes, those are all things that Slate doesn't have the capability yet of rendering. But as the platform advances and becomes more mature, we will be adding those features, and then those Photoshop features will work. So the thing that some people may not know is that when you upload a PSD into Slate, it actually becomes a Slate file. It's no longer a PSD once it's in Slate. And so it's running on Slate's engine. So all of that to say that like a lot of the small things that and improvements that we're wanting to have in order to better support PSD templates, that's actually just related to like us making Slate better, which is something we've got a bunch of people working on. That being said, there are some like bigger things that we've been thinking about, and I'm going to bring up four, and I'm going to ask to kind of just get a sense of like a temperature check of like what people are really feeling and would like to see more or hear more about from from the CS team and from the product team in the months to come. So the first one is something we've been thinking about for a while, which is introducing the ability for you to be able to turn a Slate project, so a file that you're working on in Slate, into a template. And so at the moment, the thing that sucks at the moment is that you need to set everything up in Photoshop, and you have this kind of back and forth between what Slate can support from Photoshop and the vision that you have in Photoshop. So we've been thinking, well, we could make it a lot easier to create templates by just allowing you to create something in Slate and then instead of just publishing it, actually then convert it into a template. And so you know that whatever you've got going there and whatever you've got set up is going to be achievable and you're going to be able to replicate that time and time again. So it would be replacing the export step with turning this into a template step where you'd be able to do some of the stuff that you're doing with the PSD file, but inside of Slate. So that's the first one. The second one that we're thinking about is introducing a concept of having placeholders in your template. So at the moment, when you set up your layer swaps, you have to have everything ready to roll, right? But often you want to be able to create templates that can evolve with time and grow as your season evolves or just as like just over time. And so what this would be is allowing you to, when you upload your PSD template, to connect it to things like connect a layer to your logos or graphics, or connect a overlay to your overlays in Slate. Additionally, we would also allow you to be able to say like this section here, this square is a placeholder for an image or a video, so that you can use your templates, but then have things, have new layers added and new things available to your template simply by updating your brand hub and adding new assets to your brand hub. So that's the second one. The next one is PSD to assets. So if you want to use Photoshop with Slate directly, at the moment, what you are only able to do is to create full templates with Photoshop. And that's cool for a certain set of use cases, but there's a lot of power in the workflow with uploading Photoshop files into Slate. And we think that it could potentially be really interesting to allow you to turn a Photoshop file into an overlay or a Photoshop file into a graphic. So what that would mean is you would be able to have more options and functionality within a filter. So instead of uploading 10 filters that are really just the same filter with slight differences, or 10 graphics that are really the same graphic but with slight differences, being able to use some of that functionality from your Photoshop files in other Slate assets. So that's the third one. And then the final one is having Photoshop files to video assets. So one of the things we know is that a lot of our customers are creating more video than static assets, and yet you can't really bridge a PSD template, bring that into a world of video. So the idea is, what if we were to allow you to, when you upload a Slate template, to be able to, in the same way that you can configure and set up layers information and have layer settings, applying that to video. So being able to take that same template and say, I'd like this to be for play for 3 seconds. I'd like this to stay on for 5 seconds, and to be able to apply presets to it that are motion orientated. So that would allow you to create things like open and end cards, that type of thing from Slate assets. So these are the four of the many things that we're thinking of doing. Would love you to just give us some feedback, what you think, what you're feeling, what you're not feeling, and what's a good second place for you.
I have a poll. Like, but he's cracking me up. Just everything. I have a poll. I'm gonna launch it. Let's see if we can launch this. All right. If you see the poll, the questions are: what are you most excited about? 1, 2, 3, or 4. What are you least excited about? 1, 2, 3, or 4. And finally, second place goes to, for being the most excited. Like, what are you most excited? Second most excited? Okay, here we go. Get those answers in. Get those answers in, everybody. Get those answers in. I see. Okay, okay, okay. Take a look through Slate templates, asset placeholders, PSD to assets, and PSD for video. Keep going, keep going. Let's give it like another 20 seconds to get everybody in there. I'll give you guys the countdown. What about that? 20, 19. Just added pressure. 18, 17, 16, 15. Keep going. Wow, wow. Actually, a bunch of you are jumping in here. This is great. We've got 68 participation. I don't know if anybody can see that but me, but I can see 76 participation, 76%, 80%. We're at 80%. Now I feel like I'm an auctioneer. Can I get 85? Can I get 85? 85, 85%, 85, 82%, 82, 84%, 84%. Do I have to also do this so that I can
No, we
up the
can't.
percentage?
I
Oh,
tried
man.
to skew the numbers.
Wait, why can't we just say yes to all?
Ha!
I love that. I love that. I know, Sean, we tried to skew the numbers here, but thank you, Becky. I'm going to do the auction. I'm ready for auctioneering. I'm ready. 92%. Okay, we've got 4 more people left. I'll give you 10 more seconds if there's anybody else out there who wants to get an answer in. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I don't even know. Do the answers ending the poll? Here are the answers. Share the results.
Awesome.
There you go. There's the results,
Boom.
everybody.
Ooh.
Look at that. Live results. Live results. I'll scroll through and then we will end this session. There you go. Live results. Everybody, thanks for coming. Shout out to Alec for doing the thing. Amazing stuff. Great behind the scenes that you don't get anywhere else. This is super helpful for us to kind of figure out what we want to do with the product, where we want to go. If you have questions, you know where to hit us up. You know where to find us. Thanks again. That's it.
Thanks, everyone.
That's it. We're done. Good stuff.
Peace.
Peace, everybody. Peace.
Bye.